We were off by one vote, and it possessed these people until they could find out why. And we ultimately discovered it was humidity. Remember, didn't want to darken the oval, but wanted to circle it. On a day when the humidity was low, it didn't count, that ballot, because there weren't enough microns of ink inside that oval. But on a humid day, when it swelled up, there were enough microns in that oval, it counted the ballot. And these folks found that one ballot and so forth to discover what happened. Had the voter simply done what we asked them to do, darken the oval. But again, we're America, and we have this notion, you can't tell me what to do, I'll do what I want. You'll just have to suffer the consequences. Well, occasionally that doesn't work out so well because it doesn't count or it does count. And ultimately we looked at it because everyone was a circle. That's what they chose to do. So we ultimately said that should count because that's how they voted. That was the voter intent. And so we counted it, and it was the same result because, interestingly enough, on election night, it must have been humid enough that the machine saw it and counted it. But when we did our hand count audit, it worked. But when we ran it through, we were off by one. And so that's where the search began to make sure. So we again check these machines to make sure that whatever you have put down is what the machine reported. And we do this ahead of time and we do it afterwards.
Dennis, I hope you'll understand that nobody here is questioning the integrity of any of y'all. We think you guys are great, and we think that the work that Mandy and her people do is just phenomenal. However, it doesn't change the fact that there's a lot of questions about what went on in the last presidential election.
I don't have any question.
Well, there's other people that do. And if we don't believe in the integrity of our elections,
That's exactly right.
we're lost as a republic. So we're looking. And we're not looking to find that you all did anything wrong. We're just trying to look and see what we can see.
Right.
And if we see something that we think is hinky, we'll bring it to y'all.
Oh, well, that's fine. No, we want citizens. I'm just saying, we were very happy with our election because the equipment worked the way it was supposed to work. It was working beforehand when we did our testing because every machine gets tested. We have banks of ballots and so forth we run through to make sure. And then we go back through and audit afterwards, and it worked. I know there were people that weren't satisfied with other states and so forth. I can't help that. In my humble opinion, you know, I'm in one party. We didn't win the election before. The people spoke. Apparently, people aren't satisfied that the people spoke this time because their guy didn't win. I don't know.
I don't think that's it. I think there's a lot of, I'm not saying here in Ohio, but there
No, because your guy won here.
No, let me ask
They
you.
lost you.
Well, let's talk
about here.
No, I want to ask a question though. When you shut down the machines, you know, the machines that you go vote
When we
on?
turn them off.
Yeah, they spit out like a little, you know, it looks like a little tape.
Well, it's a big tape.
Yeah.
It's a big
And
tape.
do you throw that away? Our precinct did.
Lord, no.
No, they shouldn't.
They shouldn't have.
No, let's put it this way. I think we got them all
Yeah,
back.
there's a
Now, they
pack
may have thrown,
attached
I
to
don't
the
know if
machine, and that's where that's
11
supposed to
and
go.
But
4.
This was after
That's
they
different.
shut him down and they had, and I asked, do we put it in like a manila envelope or something?
Yeah, they have to sign it.
Well, this they threw away.
No, this was prior, though. You're talking about when you.
No, this
Just
last,
recent.
we were the last election.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
precinct is it? And we'll check.
Well,
No,
We're
tell
in
me
the
the
first
precinct.
We
I
did,
mean, don't tell me you went somewhere and it didn't work right, but you won't tell me where.
Well, he
well,
worked
we
at
didn't
first-
work in our normal precinct, I don't know
Yeah, they
what it
worked at the
was.
first NATS.
Yeah.
And
I
are you
just-
talking about November or this past May?
This past day.
Okay, yeah, they
It
worked at the
just-
first NATS.
I didn't know if they were supposed to save them or, not.
We can check and see.
Okay.
That's a lot. Debbie's been a
That
long
there's-
time.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I'm just new.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
They, the ones that were supposed to did go in. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
This is after everything was shut down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was just curious.
Yeah, no, everything, absolutely everything is to come back to us
Okay.
on election night.
Okay.
They bring it back to us.
Okay.
So, when the
Yeah, because I was new at this, I
Yeah,
never.
yeah, no, everything, we don't throw anything away. We're not supposed to anyway.
So we'll check.
Okay,
Yeah.
They're gonna
I was
check.
just curious. This is my first time working those.
Right. No, we don't want stuff tossed away, Lord knows, we want to be able to check it if we have to. Yes?
Okay, I actually have a few questions for you that are directed, okay? At the beginning, you said that there was no problems with the machines at the precinct themselves. Our problem is not necessarily at the precinct, it's when they're transferred. So across the country in Arizona, Pennsylvania, Georgia, all those are being overthrown because of the fact of that it was intercepted and those votes were changed. So that's what our concern is.
When you say they're
Let
being
me-
overthrown, can you give me the court case that is overthrown?
Are you not reading the
Single.
paper?
I read
You
the
don't read
paper all
I
the
read
time.
papers all the time. Okay, anyway, okay, I'm not gonna
I
argue.
know
I
the
don't,
court
I'm not,
case
Dennis,
left
I'm not
and
here to argue any point. I'm here to really get real information,
Right,
okay? I mean, I did my homework. Okay? So, it's all in the news. Litigation, I'm not a litigator. I am here to help.
I spent a lot of
I am
time.
here, I know, you were my attorney. I am here as an American citizen to help further our country in a better system so that we don't have these arguments. Okay, we want integrity. So this is what I have to ask you. Now, I was told by someone last week who is an attorney for all of this, that she told me that there was funding from the Center for Technology and Light and Civic Life. Okay, now I was told that you guys did not, as Washington County, not the state, as Washington County Board of Elections, you did not receive 1 cent of money from that. Is that true?
Yes, that's
Okay,
true.
I just wanted to confirm that because that was something this lady and I discussed. And she brought it to she called me to talk to me about it. I didn't seek this out. I just thought that was.
I'm sorry, what was that grant again?
It is called Center for Technology and Civic Life. This is where Mark Zuckerberg gave $300 million to the state of Ohio for voting purposes to be used. And it was used mostly by the Democrats. So I just want to say that's what that money was designed for. So I just needed that answer.
Well, can I just explain something? Maybe one party, anything that the Board of Elections does is done bipartisanly. It's not
Okay.
by one party.
No, I know. That's why I wanted that
So-
answer.
Just the Democrats couldn't have used that money. I mean,
Well,
everything is done.
unfortunately, the Democrats decided within the individual Board of Elections, they were the ones that pushed it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm not
that's-
familiar with the
well,
grant itself.
Yeah, she informed me of what was going on with that. So I heard about that, but I wasn't sure exactly. And it was just, it's just one of those moments where I just get a phone call in the middle of the evening.
Well, and
It's
I
like,
will tell you, we
"Hey,
did
I
receive
know you're
several-
working on this and you need to,
We did receive several grants. We got money from the federal government, a HAVA grant, which is helping America
What's it
vote.
called?
HAVA, HAVA,
Uh-huh.
Helping America Vote.
That's congressional money.
That's
Okay,
congressional money.
okay, and what else do you do?
We also got
We got
CARES
some-
grant, which was part of the,
CARES, right?
that's part of the
That's from the
stimulus
COVID.
package for COVID.
That was
Okay.
COVID.
We got COVID money for that.
So we didn't need.
So we really did not need, I mean, we gave back grant money
Oh,
Some of
to the
Secretary
Secretary of State. Any money we received comes through the Secretary of State, it's
Oh,
funneled
right.
through there.
yeah. Yeah.
So, but this one, and I did want to get the Center for Technology and Civic Life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have done like some, cybersecurity webinars for us before.
Okay.
That was maybe in 19. when we had
Okay,
those.
before.
And remember,
So they did
our
what for you?
equipment, we bought in
Some
19.
cybersecurity.
Cyber
We
security?
were using it, we
They
used
were
it before
initiated by the
the
Secretary of State
primary and the presidential.
for them to do those for boards of elections.
So it's not like we used strange money to buy it. I mean, we got the money from the state to buy it.
Well, the thing is, it
And
won't
the
be
county
strange
gave us
for you
$10.
because the money was they were taking money from Civic, this, it's CTCL group.
Right,
Yeah, they were taking it, so you may not even have known what money you were getting. That's what I'm dwelling into.
yeah, but I
That's
guess
what I'm
my question
May I
is,
ask who they was, which
I
board
don't
of
know who
elections
they
did that?
is.
Honey, I don't know.
Okay.
I was just given the information and within the discussion, because our group is very strong right here in Washington County because we are patriots. We want to make sure our country is American country, that we have voter integrity, and we're not feeling that way. So
Do you feel in Washington County that
we're gonna find phantom voters. We are gonna find phantom voters.
you're gonna find what?
Hey, you guys don't read the papers, do you? I can't educate you on this right now. We'll be here all day.
Okay.
Okay, so read some conservative and liberal papers and you need to be broadened both ways. Okay, because I don't just read one side. So what you were saying, Dennis, basically the first question that the gentleman down there asked you, is there any way we would go to paper elections, even without voter outcry? Is there any intention of using, if you have voter outcry, will you change your process for this county? Because as you said, each county can decide how they want to vote. And I did do my research on that.
Yeah.
Each county, so if Franklin County wants to still keep with the machines, we can go paper pencil. It might take us, or pen, I keep saying paper, I'm a teacher. So get your paper pencil out. But paper, pen, even if it's gonna take us a little more time, if we decide that, we could choose
But you
this,
would have to first convince us, right?
right?
That
Well,
these
that's why I'm doing my
theories-
homework right now,
Yeah.
that we're gonna try to convince you.
That these theories,
I'm not looking at theories.
I'm just
I'm
saying-
looking at, I'm just trying to gather facts.
yeah, but the facts you're
Everything's-
not providing are how many people illegally voted in Washington.
That's what we're gonna try to find out for you.
And as near as we can tell, nobody did except one individual who lived in Athens who tried to vote twice, and they're being prosecuted by the powers that be in the county. We don't prosecute anybody. All we do is turn in people who try to vote twice.
Okay,
We
and
catch
that's,
those.
and that's legit, and that's legit.
We
And
catch
I can understand you guys catching that.
Yeah.
And we aren't looking for people who voted twice and multiple times. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for phantom voters. So you want to look up and see what phantom voters
No,
are.
I know what it's been. I looked
Okay,
it
well,
up.
I'm just,
And to me, it
okay.
seems to be speculation.
Okay, well, everything's
and
speculation until
theory.
you do your homework and you find out
Well,
otherwise.
I've done a lot more
Okay.
homework than you probably.
Yeah, probably, because I'm not an attorney, I'm a teacher, I only teach you. So I've only taught people to be attorneys.
Right.
There you go. Anyway, So and going back to my question, so if there's a voter outcry in the county, are you guys willing to change to paper pen?
Well, I would like to point out, basically what we have now is a paper ballot system.
Okay, but no, you're not understanding. What we want, you go into polling
Right,
place,
you
you're giving
don't
them,
use the touchscreen as
you
well.
don't do, no, this is not all. This is not all. It's
Okay,
not all. You go in, you get your paper, you sign in with an ID, by the way.
Yeah.
With
Which we
an
already
ID,
do.
which this county is good about for the most part. So, you, go in, you vote, and get your little vote paper, pen, and mark it. And then you go, and it's not put in a machine. It's handed to a group of people that do the counting, the Democrat Republican group, the nonpartisan group, and progressives or whoever needs to be on that counting group. Count them like we did long ago. When I first voted, when I was in high school, because I got to vote at 18 as a senior, I remember that was the way we did it. And so I'm older than you think I am. And I look a lot younger. But that's the way we did it. And it was voted, it was counted by hand. Because then there's no way that can be interceded. There's no machine to fix it, to change it. There's no technology. Because let me tell you, I do not trust technology. And when they say, oh, there's no internet or anything being used, well, I'm sorry, but you can't take anything from this building right here on any kind of machinery to send it to another building without going through the internet, not an internet, but in some kind of airways technology system. You have.
so it saves on a flash drive, and the flash drive doesn't connect to the internet.
And what do you do with the flash drive?
Then we plug it into another computer.
Exactly, that sends it where? That sends it where? That sends it where?
Yeah.
It's still
And
machinery.
then we turn
It's
around and
machinery, but
hand
it's not
count it,
the
lo and
internet.
behold, we get
No,
the same
but
result.
what we're trying to say is,
So,
it's all
Where'd we go
it's all technology.
no, it's not, it's hand counting.
When we do our audit, we do a hand count.
Yeah, but when you originally count
Yeah,
your
but
votes,
why,
it's a hand
when
count.
we
then
discover we get the
it's
same
prepared.
result, why are you telling us suddenly you have information that tells us that we're lying to you, and when we tell you
We
that the
weren't
hand
saying you
count
were lying.
matches,
I'm trying to find.
then why would we change
We're
our
just
system when it
concerned. We're
works
just concerned.
and it reports what you wanted to vote? Why would we do that?
We're just concerned with.
No, I get that. We want to allay your concerns.
Yeah.
We audit this stuff to make sure that we're not flim-flam.
Yeah, so we keep, after the election, we compare the paper ballots with hand, between Democrats and Republicans with the results that
Yeah.
As Chip said
match them
initially,
that they match.
we are not here to cast aspersions on this group,
No, no.
because we think you have done a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
And I think you're all interested in integrity. Maybe we should be going to other states, because there are other states who have done away with voter ID, photo ID requirements and things like that, to the point where, and ballot harvesting and things like that, which we know happen,
Yeah.
that
but
really
everything-
questions the integrity of the election. So our position is that we are one part. It's like you're the hand of the body, okay? The whole country is the body. We're the hand of the body here. And we're all connected. So if something happens over here that would cause us to question the integrity of our elections, it affects us here. And you made a statement earlier about, well, your guy won the last election, and that's a partisan statement, I have to say.
Yeah.
Now,
I know, but I get the feeling this is, but this is,
We are not.
Hear
but
me
the
out.
entire discussion has been partisan.
Well, okay. Can it be anything else? I mean, here's
That's what I mean, it's a partisan system.
an article from the February 4th issue of Time magazine, the 24-page article as I printed it out. The secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. and it's presented as a nonpartisan article. If you read this, and I encourage you to read it, it is the most hyper-partisan thing I've ever read. And it's actually a playbook for how, and I hate to say it, because it was the Democrats, and I'm not, again, casting aspersion on you here. I'm just saying it's a way, it's a description of how the Democrats were able to manipulate things in their favor. They're spiking the football here. They've come out and they've said, this is how we did it. It's all right here. And that questioning of that integrity comes to this level too. Not that we're questioning you. We just want everyone to have a free and fair election.
And we're just trying to see where.
Maybe not in Ohio. And it's not because our guy won. Even if our guy won, if we found that there were 2,000, 5,000, 2 phantom voters, people who were registered who really didn't exist, wouldn't you want to clean that up?
Yeah, and that's
We do that
why,
every day, sir.
again, for
And we
the
do that
last
every day.
3 or 4 secretaries of state, they have gone through trying to get rid of anyone who, the people who move, we send out notices all the time now to voters to make sure, because when you haven't voted in so many elections, we're concerned that you've passed away or you've moved or something's happened to you because we haven't seen you in 6, 7, 8 years. And so we're constantly going through and we take those people off the rolls, and every once in a while, one of those folks suddenly reappears.
Ohio's very good about this.
And so forth. So we
Ohio's
have
very good about this.
been
Other
cleaning up
states
our
don't.
roles. Other states may not be there. That I
And I know
don't know.
that's not your.
But I can't speak for them. I can only speak for trying to allay your fears about what goes on in Washington County. I can't speak to Arizona. I don't have a clue, other than I think they're most likely using pretty much the same type of equipment and so forth. And I remember back, this was Secretary Bruner got rid of an entire system in Cuyahoga County because lo and behold, you could walk by a machine, change the results with one of these. And so she threw that machine out, and poor Cuyahoga County had to run around and come up with a new system in short order. Since then, when we went to buy our equipment, we had every company known to mankind probably 3 times, and we queried them. Homeland Security has been here, 3 or 4 times. We had to separate. We're not on as you say, on the internet. Our voting system is a closed circuit. The server exists here. It's nowhere else. We have our own server room. We've been separated off so that, we're not going to be someone that can get attacked. When the election was going on, we probably averaged 2 or 3, it seemed like, in my humble opinion, 2 or 3 attacks from Korea, Russia, Iran per day, and so forth in the Ohio systems. And they were being caught, and we were being alerted. We were alerted to all the phishing that was going on and everything else. But once again, we separated our system so you couldn't get into the voting system. We use those flash drives because, again, we want to be able to, give that to our election officials, who 2 of them bring into us, hopefully guarded like gold, as well as all the paper ballots, so that when the election's all over, the election's over that night, which, as you know, is not the final election. Everybody takes that count in Ohio, but that's our first salvo. That's not the final results, called unofficial. The official canvass doesn't take place until we've had a chance to go through and check, all of our ballots that, might come through the mail, or the provisionals that you folks take care of, and we have to decide whether they're valid or not. And it's only at a meeting where we even open those envelopes. Those envelopes are never opened, those provisionals, until the board says it's okay for the staff to open them. And if we say it's not okay, they remain sealed. A record's made so people can come and check and say, gee, did you guys get this right or did you get this wrong? And so we do all of that, and then the official canvas is done roughly, let's say, 15 days, 12 days later. We sped up this time because of COVID. The Secretary of State asked us to act a little more promptly than we had in each county, to act a little faster and so forth in order to get the results done. So we just simply worked a little quicker to get all that done. But all of those things are done, designed to try to tell you that we were open, we were transparent, because you can have observers come and watch. We'll gladly have you here, we'll even feed you and so forth if you come here. And so you can see how we do it. We're a little porky about letting you too close to certain rooms and so forth. We want you to stand further back, just so there could be no question that so-and-so touched something or did something that could possibly affect the outcome of the election and so forth. We do all of that, and then we recount, we do these audits and so forth to make sure, and the machines are tested in advance so that people aren't putting strange codes in and so forth, to make sure that when we run those ballots, they work the way, the equipment works the way it works. It reads it properly, it calculates it properly, and we get the accurate results. And again, like I said, we go to great pains to do this. Everything is done with an R and a D. If we take you back there, we have a secure area during election, well, during all times, but during election times, where you have to have a Republican and Democrat walk back into a room. You can't even get into the room until you each have a key that will open up and allow you into that secure part of the room. Can't get in there and so forth. And the board is adamant about that, and the staff is even more so. So, you have somebody starting to walk back, well, let me get an R to walk with you, or let me get a D to go with you. Because we want to assure you that it has to be an R. If there's going to be cheating, it's going to be a Republican and a Democrat that cheated you. It's not going to be just one party getting back there. They can't get there unless they have a friend on the other side that has a key that lets them in. And we have cameras. When we were told we were putting in a ballot box, we have a camera that is on that 24 hours a day and so forth to make sure that nothing could happen there. We take an R and a D out to that drop box. 2 people, R and a D. They open it, they take it all out, they check and make sure it's empty, and lock it back up. They come back in, and R&Ds are going to be touching all those things. So we do all of that to try to give everyone, hopefully, as much comfort as we can give you that here, we follow these rules. We want to make sure that there's just no skullduggery. And when we hear that, gee, somebody threw something away, we want to know that. Because it may be just educational poll workers. Oops. You're not, this you could throw away, this chunk of paper,
And that might be what it was.
Right, but I'm just saying, but we want to know, because in our next training session, we may well want to say to everyone, make sure that maybe you shouldn't toss that away, or go get someone from the other party and you both agree, oh yeah, that's the one we can toss out. So that, if anyone says anything, you go, no, it was an R&D decision that was a piece of, paper. I mean, because we're quirky about public records. Back in the day, Charlie and I think Glenn may have as well, we went to a meeting where they told us that, the little stickies
Yeah.
that we all up Post-its, they're public record. You have to keep them for 22 months or whatever. Unless you have a retention schedule that says, no, it's okay to throw that out. So that when it's no longer useful. So when you have a little sticky that says, will you please buy Tim Hortons tomorrow? We don't have to keep that for 2 years. Because once the Tim Hortons comes in, we can throw that sticky away. That's how porky or picky we are about what we've done. And again, part of that has to do with originally Charlie, I, Tom Cox, and Jim Huggins. We got on this board because the board before it was fired by Secretary Blackwell. He did not like what was going on in Washington County, so he terminated the entire board.
And almost all staff.
Yeah, and asked the parties to nominate new people. And so we were the 4 that originally
Who
came
was on
on.
the board that proceeded?
What year was that?
Oh, gosh, I came on in 2000, you came on in 6, so it was an 05, 06 probably startup board, because I started with Jim Huggins in 07.
And on the board at that time would have been Eldon Miller, Ed Vermont, and Mr. Kitchen,
Yeah.
and who was the other?
Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Cliff Walker.
Cliff Walker. That was on the board, yeah.
And again, I don't know that much. I just remember that when we had meetings, that for about the first year, television stations from Columbus to Athens were made regular appearances to see what the Washington County Board was up to. Blackwell was about to go out. So we were given a lady, Ann Block, to be our liaison person with then Secretary Bruner. And we just used to chuckle how we were always introduced as the board that was on probation and so forth. So, I mean, I certainly, 2 of us at least came on when things were difficult. And one of the things we talked about was we want to be as open and transparent as possible. And so we want to hear complaints, and I apologize if I'm
We're not.
slightly irritated. Or I appear to be irritated because, we're trying to do our best job to not be any other state.
Believe me, I understand. I was a voting location manager under your tenure and some of the other people here.
Right,
And I know how strict everything was.
yeah. Yeah, and we just want to make sure that citizens aren't worried because we frankly like our system because we studied so many of them.
I'm not so sure
Okay.
we're worried about our system.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
We're seeing what's
I'm
going on
worried about
across
our
this country
system.
right now. and we're not
I'm
happy
worried about the
that.
whole nation system.
We're just trying to verify
Right.
everything's
Yeah.
okay.
And and really, we are not complaining. So I'm kind of offended that you said that because we are not here complaining. We are here as citizens of the United States, making sure that voter integrity is attainable and everyone will be happy with it. That we won't have these things in the paper about everybody's unhappy. And I can't remember who said earlier about we could have been unhappy with the 2016. Well, let me give you a hint about that one. Just a couple of weeks ago, I did talk to a group of people in a Zoom meeting from all over Ohio who's doing the same thing we are, that we discussed the fact that, hey, maybe we should kind of go back to 2016 too. And so we are researching that. So it's not just this election. It's our former election. So we're not being partisan. We're being integrity. We want integrity across the board. We don't want to be Cuba. Sorry, just not wanting to go there. That's our intention. I do have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
Are the voting machines that were bought into March 2018 for the $750,000, the latest ones, $750,000, the latest ones we have in Washington County?
Yeah.
Yes. And what brand are those? What brand are they?
If they're Unison is the company that produces them.
Okay, so that is nothing to do, they're not Dominion.
No.
No.
Okay.
No, yeah.
That I need to know that. See, you guys are on, and I was told the other day, and this lady that called me knew that this board, my county was one of the better counties. So we're not here to do anything to you guys. We're just trying to help, and I'm trying to help other counties. So if whatever you're doing is the best, then other people in other counties need to know what they need to be doing. So this is not just about us here in Washington County. It's about Ohio, it's about the United States, because we're already connecting with people in other states too. The same thing. All of us are citizens like me and all of us who are working on this. So but I'm gonna tell you, the whole premise is we want the hand count. We want the hand count. So, when's your next meeting?
Well, it'd be.
We haven't, well, it's tentatively set for August 11th.
Okay, so you don't have it.
But I said
is it not?
tentatively
I
because
understand.
we're missing a member.
Yeah, I know, I saw the dean was not
So we
here.
have to have a quorum, so.
Yeah.
That the staff said that just, it's kind of a regular thing, but it's possible it could get changed. 'Cause
Okay.
it's
We're the
just not
second
having-
Wednesday of each month.
Second
That's
one,
what we try
okay.
to do.
At the same time, I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone else is on vacation,
One-
Denise can't make it because
Okay,
she's in
you're Karen
court.
Blosky.
We have
Okay,
to find a
I,
new day.
Are you familiar with Douglas Frank?
Yes,
because someone was like, oh, you should ask her about, it was something else.
Done much
But
research
I got my
in his
next book.
Okay.
data
yes.
collection? What is your opinion on that?
Well, according to the guy who, the mathematician who's probably the leading expert on that system, indicated that you can't use any of that in elections because it doesn't, there are no correlations that have been studied to use.
Who, do you
Those
have that
switches.
person's name, the
Mhm.
mathematician?
Yeah, I can't remember, he's from the University of Michigan is the best I can do for you off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a mathematician or a scientist that's working with us on the data of the
Yeah.
integrity.
A lot of this has to
There's
do
actually
with
more and more every day that are
the
jumping on
numbers
board.
and so forth that come
So
out
there's a lot of us.
and so forth. And so I've seen it, I mean, it was the basis of part of the movie, The Accountant. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. But, the guy mentioned it during the one little scene.
Your agenda.
And so forth.
Recent,
But I'm familiar with that
is that a recent movie?
The Accountant.
I was gonna say there's extra.
Thank you. Oh, I could have gotten that, I'm sorry.
Ben Affleck.
Here's our agenda.
Yeah. It's,
Okay, you're welcome.
it's a bit of a shoot 'em up movie, but anyway, the accountant and had to do a lot with that. At least one whole scene. And so I was fascinated by it. That's probably what got me started. And nothing better to do. Yes.
I can speak for myself, I have no more questions at this
Me,
time.
that's what I was just thinking too.
So, you know,
I don't want to interrupt your
Yeah.
meeting anymore.
Thank you for your time.
You're
Yeah.
very welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us.
You know, you're not interrupting our meeting. We appreciate you
Yeah.
coming
That's
here,
right.
so that's not a problem.
You'll probably see me more, so I'm sorry.
You're gonna become like the
I'm gonna warn you. so-
TVs and the.
No, if I bring you
newspapers.
cookies, is that a good thing or is that oh, thank you. Or is that bribery? I don't want to bribe people. I'm a cookie girl. And I've just learned how to make the best cookies in the world. And oh my gosh, wait till our next meeting.
Oh,
I can't wait.
All right, thank
Thank you. You guys have a
you.
great day.
are we shirking our
Same.
responsibility to stay for your meeting, or?
What's that?
No, you don't have to.
You can stay.
You're welcome to stay.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Okay, did anyone get a
What's
chance
the lady talking now?
to have a look at the
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
No, I just thought maybe someone might know who she was. That makes any difference.
What they're talking about with that guy Frank is system
Emily
is
had went to a
called
meeting.
like Brenton or something like
Lynn
that.
Stoll,
Um,
Lynn Stoll.
Don't know her.
But
The other two are the Paps, they were.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah, none of
I
us
about
had
that. I didn't know any more about it than I told you.
yeah,
I just knew they were.
yeah. Well, there's this concept in math that how many times numbers appear as the first number. And interestingly enough, if you look at any series of numbers that are created, the number 1 will appear 40% of the time, first number. The number 9 will appear 5% of the time. So the IRS sometimes will use that to just say, are you fudging numbers? It's not proof of anything, but it causes the IRS to say,
Red flag.
let's go look. So in this election, they found in certain areas in Michigan where Trump's numbers seemed to fit within the paradigm of this mathematical rule, and Biden's didn't. So therefore, the claim and scream was, aha, it was the books got cooked,
Yeah.
and so forth. And a guy in Michigan is one of the leading, sort of studied this whole thing, has said, you can't use it in elections at all. It doesn't fit within that kind of a paradigm, partly because it's never been studied to show that it's proof of anything in elections. Okay, might work in certain areas where human beings are creating numbers because they have a pattern in their brain how they create them, but not when it comes to you're counting up what people did and so forth, unless you're saying people are creating the numbers just by, sitting down on a piece of paper and scribbling in, well, Biden got this number and Trump got this number.
Is there any
And somehow they would actually follow the rule on one side, creating a phony number, but over here, they wouldn't follow the rule. And
Is there any county that does a pure paper election and pure?
Not that doesn't
hand
hand, no. Everybody uses some.
The first year I was on the board, we had hand counted, I forget now if it was a primary or general, I think it was a primary. And let me tell you, getting the people to come to do that,
Yeah,
and the amount of people we would need,
I know. And the length of time it would take.
yeah, oh, we was there all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the debate.
That's a primary, that was probably small.
The debate over because, we've gotten kind of good with this, but can you imagine having different people doing it? Having the debate about, well, he meant to vote for this person.
Yeah,
Because you're gonna have people coming in that are just totally partisan, going the dangling Chad
yeah.
of Florida.
Hanging Chad, yep,
We'd have this, that's a pen mark in there,
yeah.
Well, look at that.
It's one way and one
You know,
person makes another.
Yeah.
and that, no, don't count, man, he really wanted that one to count, not that one, because that's my guy
I
or
mean,
gal.
it would be like the old days, like
Nightmare.
Pony Express trying to get the votes from the rest of the state by the time it got to Washington. That's why the inauguration's always in January, because it took them that long to figure out who won.
Can someone tell us who the rest of these folks were?
Well, we had,
I'm interested in the rest of these five.
um,
Jack Moser.
who was the first?
Chip
gentleman?
Wilson.
Chip Wilson.
That's Chip Wilson,
Yeah,
okay.
Jack Wilson, Jack Moberg, I don't know who the next guy was.
Ells,
Ells, yeah. John
Yeah.
Ells, Lynn
Ells,
Stoll, ELLS.
yeah, George Sauer's son-in-law, if you remember
Was he from
George.
Georgia?
Where was he?
He was sitting in
He
the,
was
Right there in the
Last man to leave.
and then Carol and Ed Past. and they were poll workers.
Right.
They wanted to be a poll worker in November, but for some reason didn't get called by the manager.
Well, let's
They worked
find
on that.
out what paper, because it was interesting. that she
I
started
wanna
out
know.
And then sort of backed out to, well, maybe it was a paper was supposed to be thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if it was the one from like the Freedom Vote, but,
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
like
know
those
why-
scan codes, we keep all of those too.
right, we keep those too.
So I'm not
See, I kept wondering, is it possible it turned out to be the 11 or,
The 11 and 4 list.
4
I mean,
list.
those
Oh,
we could throw
those
away.
you can't.
well, I'm just saying, can you
And
imagine that, remember they were also sometimes being cut off and they were
Yeah, they
shorted?
have been.
But you know what,
So
Dennis, we
somebody
didn't
could
have the
have-
11 and 4 list because we didn't have a primary. We didn't have a political, a Republican primary.
No, you still have to do the.
Oh, you still do the, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you still do
okay,
those, even
okay.
if it's not partisan.
So anyways, but
Yeah,
Just so people can see who
presidential looked at
voted.
it. And, the whole idea of phantom voters,
I
What
didn't
she's
understand what
talking-
she said.
oh,
It wasn't that I didn't
Was
know
it
what she was
phantom?
talking about.
phantom.
Phantom,
Okay, I'm.
Part of this has to do with, because this, I wondered if that question would come up. We sort of take initially for granted that the human being who shows up to set up our equipment is actually doing the software installation.
Right, when we
Okay.
first bought the equipment.
Well, yeah, but then every election, we use some stranger to do our software setup, our ballot setup.
Well, they're people we know.
they're RBN, they're vendors.
But they're ones we've seen
They're-
before.
They're strangers
Well,
in the sense of,
yeah.
you don't know too much about
They're the
them.
same ones that come.
You
They're
know,
contractors.
But you don't know that they had a financial problem.
Yeah,
Right, I mean, we.
And one of the parties came to them and said, here is $100,000. You fix every machine that every time you get to the third Trump vote, it goes to Biden. So 1, 2 Trump, Biden.
I would love, if
I'm
they,
just
if they
saying
continue to try this, I
I'm
would love
wondering
to
if
have
that's what
Todd.
she's talking about, the phantom
Todd.
voter of that. Because the only other phantom you can have is that you had 300 people show up and you had
She'll
319
still a teacher, she'll be expelled.
Or people registering to vote. If someone turns in a registration for somebody that doesn't really
exist.
But
And
I think it would be, and I don't know when Todd, we're having an RBM day in Columbus in a couple weeks.
On the 26th.
I would love for Todd to come down, as I say, I think it's admirable, what they're doing, but if they're concerned about overall elections, then
I
they
just,
should be in favor of House Bill 1.
I just
Because
watched,
that's gonna
I
federalize
just
the
watched.
elections, and I don't think anybody
They're
really
still-
wants
they're
that.
still-
Yeah, but I worry about, like I say, I guess in the end, probably should have been kinder and gentler. I spent a lifetime dealing with people in the criminal justice system who have come up with these conspiratorial theories about how so-and-so rigged this vote with the jury, et cetera, or did this to get the police to do that. And it takes on a life of its own because you begin to only circulate and talk with people that are like-minded.
Yeah.
Right.
And invariably, when you hear discussions, you will hear the word at the outset, this is possible. As a result of that phrase possible, it becomes a true fact, 100% certain. And everything else that's discussed is based off the fact that that was 100% true. Not that it was only, you forgot that it was possible and that all things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it goes on and I've studied this and I've done that. And again, I actually wrote in a tweet once, I was responding to, of all people, Ted Cruz. And I just said, I had no idea you had such a low view of the intellect of Republicans. Because they have to be the dumbest human beings on earth to be flim-flammed across the country by Democrats. The Republicans are so stupid that the Democrats could easily pull the wool over their eyes in election upon election upon election and get away with it. And not one Republican person who was on a board of elections or a secretary of state that they were so dumb that it flew over the top of their head. I mean, to me, that's just an insult to people to say that they were so stupid or gullible. I mean, these people are pretty sharp, I know. You know, they're clever people. You know, they understand, you know, something, but you're being sold snake oil. And the snake oil salesman will sell you what you want when he knows what you want and need. You know, and if he hears you got cancer, his snake oil will cure it. But it also takes care of pleurisy, just in case whenever you got that. Anybody out here losing their hair, it'll grow back. I got it. Anyway, don't get me started. But it was interesting. But I agree, Charlie, I can't conceive of going back to counting paper ballots. One, the sheer number, the time,
when you have 30,000 ballots.
You know what we'd end up doing, even if we did it, we ran them through scanners to make sure that the human beings got the right number. Because how easy it could be, what if you dropped 100?
Well, let me tell you, you sit in that room with 30 people doing what we're talking about. How many mistakes they're gonna make?
Yeah.
Human mistakes, not on purpose,
No.
just a human mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 5 of those tally marks I did.
Yeah.
That's 4.
Yeah, it's 4. Or they suddenly inadvertently, this is Biden, this is Trump using that, and inadvertently
Get your stamp.
put them in the wrong,
Maybe it's
in the
just,
wrong column.
I appreciate what they're saying, but going back to hand counting these things, it just.
Yeah, and I've been in Ohio a long time. I can't recall hand counting.
I mean, I don't think even those machines, the old levers, that's.
I forget why I was there for the can count that time, but there was about 20 of us doing that.
Maybe it was an audit or.
I don't remember. All I know is we sit here.
Put it down maybe or something.
I don't remember.
I think, well, I remember one hand count where we foolishly, if you remember, we threw out the signature of somebody, and so that guy didn't get to run, and so his cousin ran.
Oh, yeah.
It was a write-in, and we got all those write-in ballots.
For a township trustee.
And we were counting them and counting them and counting them.
There was a guy that
and counting
didn't,
them. And the cousin didn't even want it. He was gonna resign and let his other cousin get appointed. And I just remember doing that hand count. It took forever. And it was like, you misspeak. You just misspeak. You'd sit and go, wait a minute, did you mark that?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Oh, well, let's go back. So then it was like,
Oh, there's times when it's just me and Mandy, when we have to remake a ballot. And I'm sitting there, I'm making sure, I'm hearing her, that it's just us.
You're double
because-
checking each
Yeah.
other, just to make sure.
to make sure that what you said,
Not
what
malicious.
the person, no, it's just human beings.
I'm reading, that mean you're gonna write.
I know.
I mean.
Well, and I guess the thing is, if they're fine with Ohio, then, yeah, she's right, maybe they need to get, we can't do anything with Arizona, we can't do anything.
Well, no.
And I don't know their laws, so I
Yeah,
can't say,
yeah.
if they're doing things good or bad. 'cause
But I think at the end of the day, they had basically the same, a lot of them had the same equipment. The states that are delayed are those central count states,
That don't count.
where
yeah.
all you
Yeah,
do
when it
is
goes to
get the
the-
ballot marked.
Mhm.
When the polls close,
Then you can't.
They haul them in and they're going into like a town like Philadelphia, into a huge warehouse. So you can imagine the massive amount of paper that is coming in,
Yeah.
massive. And they have those huge heart or whatever,
Some of them I think have
Those-
yes.
yeah, all of those high-speed things and they're folding them up and putting them and away they go. But just the sheer amount of time it takes to haul all that paper, and you get someone because they're on forklifts. And somebody puts the forklift in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Remember, I think you and Tom, remember when you found the 400 ballots or
Oh,
something
yeah.
in a box? It's
Yeah.
like, can you imagine getting a forklift and there's 80,000 or 100,000 ballots over here in the corner and you're going, those don't have a seal on them. They haven't been marked. Oh, good Lord, we didn't count them. So then the issue is, well, did we count them, forget to put a seal? We're gonna start all over.
I know.
And to me, the one thing I think, if everybody just did Ohio's system of bring your sticks in,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we get done a lot quicker.
I did want to let her know there is a county that uses Dominion.
There are, yeah, at least a couple.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
And again, I don't, as near as I can tell, they're like everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, and if you audit your results, I mean, you'll know if there's a
Exactly.
problem, so.
I think we need to invite them to the next canvas and show, so they see exactly, because they can observe, they can request to be an observer.
Yeah, well, only certain, you have to be like a citizen group or one of the parties.
Well, you can consider that group, they.
They're citizens,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's, enough of them, I think there's.
Do they have a name,
five,
James? Does anyone know?
I don't know anything about them other than I knew they was,
I've heard of like a Mid-Ohio Valley something, I think's what they're called, citizen.
What was your question?
I wanted to know if they had a name, if they have, that group
I
has
think it has
a name.
Mid-Ohio Valley in it.
Mid-Ohio, yeah.
I've heard it, but I can't remember exactly.
You know how this all started, right? There was a
There was that
doctor
doctor,
of, what is his doctorate in?
I think
Physics.
psychology.
physics.
Oh, physics.
That is now being,
Frank.
touring on, election integrity. And that
And he was here in Marietta.
he was at the
He was at
church.
the Evergreen
Yeah,
Church.
Evergreen, yeah,
Bible
church.
I don't remember where he was.
And ironically, he called out Secretary LaRose. And he said that LaRose sent his minions to meet with him, that he wouldn't meet with him.
That Frank would meet.
That Frank would meet him. Frank was actually here that same night at Marietta College. The night that guy spoke. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have known that. I would have picked him up myself and taken him out there, because I think Frank could counteract
Oh, yeah, he
anything
would.
that
Yeah.
he has to say. But there was a large crowd. Emily did go. She told us she went. She didn't speak as a staff member of the board. But yeah, but it's just this whole questioning of integrity. They want no electronic ballot marking system at all. They want only paper and hand counts by humans.
And I felt like saying to that lady, don't have any problems with that. You get the people. You get the people to be here.
Well, I mean, you could raise another $750,000 to buy,
All right.
Yep.
Let's move on, if you don't care.
That was fun.
That was fun. Okay.
Minutes.
I read them. I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll sign this one.
We're gonna do the bills next. What's additional poll workers pay? What do you mean by that?
That was a little bit of, I had forgotten that we pay the VLMs, the $30 per precinct that they get. I did not also pay them mileage for coming in on the night before election. So we paid them twice, so that's the additional pay. That just went to the managers.
Just ask, I remember you saying that at the last meeting now,
Yeah.
since you said that, so no problem.
And we paid Suddenly 2 months is all.
Yeah,
That's the way
those two
it fell.
separate ones, yeah.
Yeah,
And what's the Marietta Times, that just to get the paper?
Yeah, to receive the paper,
and the online, so if anybody wants the online.
No, I meant.
Well,
I meant
just their everyday paper.
Bulletin, the everyday Marietta bulletin.
Did the Suddenlink thing go up?
It did go up a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah, it was 106, so it went up about $5 per month.
Well, if no one else has a question, I'll make a motion, we accept the bills, pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And the correspondence was the same as, I think it was on there last time at the last meeting.
This is our notice we're sending out to
Yeah.
the folks that
Which
I
that's-
sort of referenced.
And there's another copy of it in here, but we only had 99 letters that were gonna go out for that, so we actually had Triad send them out. And their bills on here cost us $98.01 for that. So they, because the state had a specific return envelope, they wanted like our intelligent mail barcode on it. So we didn't have enough time to order some from a printer ourselves, so they were able to print some. And so that's why they sent it out for us this time.
So they took care of it.
Yeah,
so-
and we've actually gotten a lot of them back undeliverable.
Yeah,
So we have gotten none back that were completed.
Where people
The
said,
voter
oh,
receipt
hey, glad to hear from
completed and
you.
returned, yeah.
Great.
We're hoping we'll get at least one back. I mean, I'd like to get at least one that somebody's like, oh yeah, and they fill it out.
mhm.
So we'll see.
People move a lot.
They do, yeah. Okay. And then we had a list there of or the polling locations for November, if we were wanting to change them. We have a list here of the, where Karen talked to the schools to see when we can visit.
And that's on the email that I sent out to you, with the minutes attached. Fort Fry, we can go next week. I'm still waiting to hear back from Frontier, so I didn't know what everybody's schedule's like, if you want me to go ahead and set these up, or,
Well, I'm looking at week of July 19th, that's next week
yeah,
on that. Looks like to me that we could go Fort Fry and Belpre, try to get more than one at one
yeah,
time.
oh, I would think so, I think if we did all of Fort Fry,
Well, can I ask this? Waterford, I guess, would allow us to go the same time as also Belpre, 27 August 2, 3, 5, 6. My only question is, sort of knowing Fort Fry versus Waterford, would we use both? Or would we probably end up picking one of the two?
well, according to the map that Jason, the Buckeye Hills did, I was thinking that like Palmer Township, Watertown Township, all of that would go to Watertown schools. And then I was thinking like Beverly, Lowell, well, Lowell might go, we might bring Salem into Lowell to bring those people in, you know what I'm saying? I guess we have, because Salem's gonna be closed, Salem Liberty is not gonna have school this year. But I don't know that it's ADA compliant.
What school are you thinking of?
Lower Salem,
The one right in Lower Salem.
The
yeah,
elementary school?
yeah, that elementary.
You don't think it's ADA?
I don't know, Jim isn't, and that's the only, I mean, I've never been into the school, I don't know what their cafeteria is like up there. But I've been in that gym, and that gym, those steps are straight up. Now, I think you can come from the backside, but
I mean, if it's too far.
yeah, so I would say we may have
When you come
to,
in the backside, it reminds me of when we was using Lang's building and handicap had to go around.
While in the back,
Yeah.
remember, and then walk up?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of Salem going to Lowell. But like I say, we'll
What is
just
Salem doing to Lowell?
Lower Salem voters, Salem Liberty Township, going to Lowell School to vote.
But
I've got a couple of,
I thought this Lowell Elementary wasn't ADA
No,
compliant.
Lowell is, Salem Liberty is not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Lowell would be.
Lowell is very,
Yeah,
it's,
it's pretty flat.
Isn't that Lowell Elementary?
yeah, I'm talking about Lower Salem.
No, I know, I was talking about Lowell.
Oh, no, Lowell's very compliant, it's flat.
But how many, again, are we just trading one place for another?
Yeah,
If, again, I guess you're saying that would be then Lowell, Fort Fry, Waterford, Marietta. So there's 6, that's 7 voting locations. Were you thinking there were gonna be more than those 7?
yeah.
Right
Warren,
now, we have 13.
Well, no, I
So do we
counted,
wanna
there's
stick
6,
with-
Fort Fry, Waterford, Marietta, Warren, Belpre, Frontier, that's 6, Lowell makes 7.
but we may, in some cases, we may use the elementary and the high school, like I'm thinking at Frontier, we may still need the new Matamoros. I mean, I don't know, you guys tell me. I was thinking maybe using the new Matamoros, or maybe using the Frontier High School and the Newport Elementary.
I think I would just do them all at
It's
Frontier.
all up Frontier, okay.
Again, if we're talking to them, it's possible they're only gonna, it would sound better to them, we're only closing high schools if they're actually gonna close them, as opposed to closing their elementaries as well. Now, on the other hand, they may have contractual issues where if the high school code or the teachers are off, the elementary are. So we'd have to at least probably address that with them. If we were to pick a couple of elementary schools, is that gonna skewer you or not?
Well, as I say, I mean, that's why we need to work with them. I got the impression that none of them were too interested in actually closing school. I got the impression that they are willing to work with us to make it work on election day.
I would say you're probably right with what you're saying
Yeah.
and working with us. Now, that's gonna be the problem.
Because
Because if they're in
still,
school and all those we ran that, all those teachers are parking right there and
Yeah.
are they gonna give us a place
yeah.
where our people?
Well, and I'm thinking bus schedules. I mean, alone, because, polls open at 6:30.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they are going to completely rework their bus schedules, I mean, there's just a lot of logistics. I think that's why we need to meet with them at their facilities to see if it's actually gonna work. So I will go ahead and try to set up something for next week. Let me ask Stephanie, I could probably ask Stephanie if we could do that the same week, and maybe we could do Beverly, Waterford, and Belgrade at the same time.
Well, the 27th, of July, we have no date.
Yeah,
So we can't do the 27th and 28th, it'll be here.
and we're in Columbus on the 26th.
Right, and then the 23rd, we have, our regional meeting.
Yeah. So,
the second and third.
The 23rd. We have a regional meeting, that's, you guys weren't gonna come to it.
yeah.
All day for 1 hour?
All the way to Logan?
I've got a couple of family things we've been trying to work out.
Oh, okay,
But I think I can move it, once I know what the dates are.
yeah,
I can't do 5 and 6. Come on, this,
okay.
just to let you know. I'm
We looking at
come
19th
in
and
with
23rd.
actual trial,
Mm-hmm, next week.
Okay.
try to work it out.
22nd's out.
Okay. You couldn't do what, Dennis?
I can't do 5 and 6 because I'm
August,
on the
okay.
bench of August.
Okay, and 22nd's out for Charlie. Do you have specific dates, Glenn? Okay.
We just started a discussion on it this week.
And like I say, if we can just get at least a couple of you, not all 4 of you necessarily have to go, but if we can just get a couple of you.
As many as possible, we need as many as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because
So I'll try to set something up and we can go from there. Okay.
All right.
we have petitions.
Yeah, if we want to, we could talk about, our one for Jed Butler. First, we had tabled it from last meeting, because he had failed to write on the back of his petition page in the circulator statement, the number of signatures that he witnessed and collected on that petition page. We have checked with the Secretary of State's office, and there's a copy of the revised code in the section from the handbook that starts with a revised code page that they had referenced when we talked to them, but they said it must contain the number of signatures.
It must,
That the
what,
circulator must write in the number of signatures that were witnessed on that petition page.
so basically what it's saying is, we can't certify that petition.
Right, this would not be something you could certify as substantial compliance.
You can't do them again.
No. Well, once you guys take action on it, he cannot withdraw the petition, because he would have to withdraw the petition before the board takes action on it to redo it again.
Did you
You
have
guys
a
can't vote on it.
conversation with him?
And I did have a conversation with Mr. Butler and asked him if he would want to do that, if he would want to withdraw. And before you guys, even got to see the petition. And he decided not to, he wanted to bring it to you to vote on it. I'm not sure if he thought you could take it maybe as substantial compliance or wanted to see, but I guess he didn't want
Did
to.
you mention it to him that we got a thing about it, fact from the Secretary of State, the revised code that said that wasn't.
No, I don't believe I did, after we found out for this.
After we found out from him, we've not had a discussion with him.
Yeah, after we heard back from the secretary.
Well, in Jed's behalf, I hate to say anything, when's the last day for,
It's August, well, the last day he could turn in a new petition would be August 4th, but you guys have to certify petitions by August 16th. All petitions have to
So
be
he has
certified by
till
August
next month.
16th.
I'm sorry?
He would have till next month if we tabled it again.
Well, personally, I think we need to table it for him.
Okay.
Just in case.
Second.
I mean, he might withdraw when Basin said no.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay.
so that's a motion and a second to table the decision on the Butler petition. Any further
Yeah, if you just
discussion?
wanna- Yeah, I don't need to pass.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
So we're gonna table that one. Thank you.
Give him a call as soon as possible.
I will.
And
Yeah.
if he doesn't want to withdraw, then
Hey, why don't you ask one of our clerks? We might get a quicker answer.
Yeah, they could call him or.
Yeah. I
Um,
was thinking the same thing. That's great.
That's too bad everybody wasn't here to see an iron that he could think of.
right, I agree. Now, our other one that's in question that you may,
Right.
want to table as well, I'll pass around so you can see, there's a column where the signer of the petition would write in the city, village, or township that they reside in.
Yeah.
That could be like the city, of their
See at the
address, if
bottom.
their city is Marietta,
Right
their
here.
address.
See what it tells you signature here, it says voting residence, right? Enter street number and address. Over here, you put the city, the village, or the township, or you put the county and your date. And lo and behold, Look what people put in.
So on our information page that we hand out to all candidates.
Yeah.
Line number 12 says, in the column titled City, Village, or Township, the voter must list the actual name of the jurisdiction. For example, if they live in the village of Beverly, they would write Beverly in this column. We had a candidate who let his signers put the word village in there, and those signatures did not count, they say on that. And he was a
That's the instruction,
It's line 12.
number 12.
So on that particular petition, almost every signature, says, I don't know if it says township.
I didn't see any that didn't have.
Right, that almost every single one, or maybe every single one, has not the actual name of the jurisdiction the person lives in. They wrote either township or,
This petition is for what, trustee?
I think it was for a township.
Trustee,
Yeah.
There's 3 on here that actually put village down.
So, if you would want us to contact this person, like either Jed.
I can get this changed to, but know what to do in the future.
People read.
Okay.
We try, we tell each person that picks up a petition, please read these instructions, and we hand that page out.
We're very limited on how much we can give them help on, because we're not.
By Secretary of State.
Right.
Yes, we can't, legally, we can't tell them how to fill it out.
So
That's
if I
why
were-
we say, make sure you read.
That's why we hand this
all the
instruction page, because we are allowed to do
But that's
that.
all they get.
Yeah,
They get, actually, this instruction page and a candidate requirement guide that's published by the Secretary of State for this particular year, so it'll have for their particular office they're running for.
Should we give this gentleman the benefit we just did, Jed?
That's what I was
I'll make the same
thinking.
motion.
Second.
Any further discussion on the early township trustee petition? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So I'm gonna.
Whoever called for Jed, I could have her call
I'll
now.
just keep that with it, so we can kind
I'll have that
of. That's Jed's, but you might have Melissa call, and she might have even talked to him already that early, okay, you might have her call him. And then we've got one petition, and that's actually. We have a couple ones that are village here, and, yeah, these are all village. So we can start with those. There's 2 petitions here for New Matamoros Village, and then that one's for Beverly. And they are all properly completed and met the signature requirements. Jed said he will be in touch.
Well, that's an entertaining answer.
he's got Arizona in.
On his mind, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd love to go to Arizona, he
I think
said.
Tombstone is where he was saying he wanted to go. So, did he tell you Tombstone?
I can't remember where
I
he
wanted to
said.
say that's where he said he was interested.
Quieter.
I don't know.
It's 110 degrees out there.
I know. It's pretty hot out there right now, my sister's out that way. Ooh.
Some are hot, yeah. There are a couple of elevated places that are
Ooh.
really pretty
I would have to be in one of those.
modest to
places.
actually cold in the winter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even just in the evening it's cold
Mm.
in Arizona.
So,
Now, these are petitions for.
Yeah, these ones are for villages. We were doing just the villages. There's New Matamoros and Beverly.
All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the petition for Gregory J. Arnold for the Beverly Village, member of council, and Richard Allen Deskey, member of council for New Matamoros, and Blake Amos, member of council for New Matamoros.
Ladies, I can.
Or Blaze, yeah.
Ladies, yes.
Oh, it's Bling?
Blaze.
Blake, okay.
like the fire apparently.
Yeah,
Different.
like it's a blaze.
He's our location manager for New Mountain. And I told him that in order for us to certify his petition, he has to find his replacement up there. So
He did say he was
he said,
looking,
I've been
actually.
looking, Karen, so.
So he's trying to help us out.
He actually would still like to work. I think we're gonna put him in Newport.
There's
this
no
one.
doubt
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Because next time you could move back.
yeah. He's a good worker, by the way. I don't wanna lose him.
Yeah.
And he's young and he's real energetic.
He's a nice-
Just-
yeah,
He's such a great kid.
Is this Jay Arnold, the guy who used to be HR manager?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I think he might already be on council.
Yeah, he's already on
Yeah.
council. He was at Selby,
He was a Selby for a number of years.
and then he was at ODOT. And then when administrations changed, he left, and then he went to AirNet, or whatever it is now.
Yes, AirNet.
Yeah, Airmet still. It was.
But he's retired now, but he's been on village council for a long time.
He's a good guy.
You gonna second that?
I want to second it.
We have a motion and a second, and with these, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we have one petition that is for, Belpre City School District for Board of Education. And that one was properly completed, and met the signature requirement for valid signature.
And that name?
I think it was Michael Miller.
Michael Miller.
You're welcome. Right.
Have you seen this? You've seen that or what? You're gonna say that?
This way. Signature, thank you.
Yeah, that one down there.
I think people were trained not to have legible signatures. Somebody told that is the safe way to do it.
I believe it.
I think I've heard someone say that before, that, you know, if it's kind of chicken scratch, no one can copy it, I guess.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the petition for Michael Lee Miller for member of the Board of Education of Belpre City Schools.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
All right, and these next ones are all for township trustee, and they were properly completed, and met the signature requirements.
Do you have the names for them?
We'd have to read them off there, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll hear them. Well, I can give them to you. Thomas Neal with 2 L's, middle name Joseph.
Okay, and that, which township?
Watertown.
Okay.
The next is Stephen Scott Hendershot, Liberty. Next, Roy Stephen Bowersock, Ludlow. Donald Preston Allen Jr., Fairfield.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I should have looked this thing out. When we were talking about what kind of,
Yeah, our audit, we're having of our home.
yeah, we got the CARES and then Havas. Your board used Hava to purchase a remote.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we had a different system. They told us to get a new one.
Well, it did not approve the new voting equipment.
No, but I meant
Yeah.
the instruction with regard to, citizen concerns.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the petitions for Thomas Joseph Neal for Township Trustee, Watertown Township. Scott Stevens, Scott Hendershot, Township Trustee, Liberty Township. Roy Stephen Bowersock, Township Trustee, Ludlow. Donald Preston Allen Jr., Township Trustee for Fairfield Township.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
All right, and this last one, the person met the signature requirements. The only thing different about it is for the election date, they wrote that it was the 4th day of November instead of the 2nd. But I mean, you can take that as substantial compliance because we know which election that.
Yeah,
And who was that for?
That was for Daryl Spears. For
Grandview.
Grandview.
Trustee. Okay, he'll come in and talk to us.
Okay, and
Yeah,
he had wrong date for
Yeah, for the election date.
election.
It's November 2nd and he had put November 4th.
I think we all have November 4th in our brain, to be honest.
that was.
Which the 4th is a Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a popular day.
Last year it was all 11/4/20, okay.
At least it was consistent, but a little bit that was.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we accept Daryl Ray Spears, Township Trustee for Grandview Township. It meets the basic requirements of a petition.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
right, and that was our last petition for
Excellent.
today.
Well, Marching on.
We're gonna get a hold of the Times and have them do an article about the deadline. For
So it's like people can't.
candidates know.
Yeah, just to give them a heads up. again.
And then I have on here that the deadline, for the board to certify them is August 16th, which will be, if we have our next meeting on the 11th, then we'd be covered.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because the deadline for people to turn them in is August 4th, so we should have them all checked, before the 11th. So, but if we need to change the date, it would have to be on the 16th or before. And then I have on here, August 23rd is the deadline if anyone wants to run as a write-in for the November election.
Is that a different kind of petition?
Yeah, it's just a one page, you don't actually collect
Oh,
signatures.
you don't, okay.
It's just a single page where they put their name and address and say that they want to be a write-in candidate for, and then they put the election date. But they do have to pay the same filing fee as whatever office they're running for. And then we have, in your packets, actually, we have two public records requests, and I've only got one listed on there, but, there's one that's a Perkins, I don't know if you said it, Coy. At the top, it's dated July 8th. And then we got another one here that, on the front of the packet at the top, it says fish alert. Just because we checked with the Secretary of State to make sure it wasn't anything fishy. But the first one, Perkins Coy, is quite lengthy.
Question, looking at that one, is we don't have to do a special to meet their request. We don't
We don't have to
it on
create
record.
records.
Is most of
If we
this,
don't already have it as a record, we don't have to create it.
okay,
Yeah.
so is most of
Some
this,
of
we
it-
have a record or?
A lot of this we do not.
No,
Okay,
Yeah, so they would not be able, then there's some that we do, but there is a lot that we don't have anything. And I have
was
sent it to
reading
the
through it and I
Sec-
said, we don't keep track of that, I don't think.
Right, and I've sent it to the Secretary of State's office, to see if any other counties have gotten it too, and if they have like a, certain way. I don't know if some other counties would, track some of this that we don't or not, but we're not required, if we're not tracking it, we're not required to, so.
So with a big firm like this, what's their ultimate goal here?
Good question. You wonder if someone has,
You know, I mean, we didn't even have drop boxes in 2004. I mean, going back to 2004.
Right, I mean, we didn't have one until
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
until 2020.
And then some of this is personal information, that I think that we can't provide that. Each primary, the total number will be presented. I mean, we don't know how many people presented either their driver's license or their last four social.
Fortunately, all we can do is answer
What we can and,
what we have.
okay,
yeah, that's,
we'll start working on it.
And then the other one, has to do with a lawsuit against the Boy Scouts of America. And.
This is your fishing one,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the one that says Fischler at the top, but if you turn inside, you can see where it's requesting. They want to obtain a copy of their voter registration form or an application that they've used to compare their signature, to see if it's authentic, it says, and then they were wanting to match addresses. So I'm waiting to see if we can provide that, if we're allowed to provide them that electronically. I mean, we're not supposed to provide, their social security number or driver's license, or any of that, so we'd have to redact that if we provide them the signature.
Do you think we can give signatures?
That's what, so I sent it to the
Yeah.
Secretary of State.
Well, I think it's a good idea. I
So,
mean, if we know there's certain things we certainly aren't gonna give them, but, and is this for, let's see, 5, 6, 7, just 8 people? Am I
Yeah,
reading
there
that
was, when I was counting, there was, I think about that many,
5 and 3, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you get the answer from
yeah.
Secretary of State, then you'll do what needs
Yeah,
to be
I
done.
don't know what to.
Yeah, that's strange.
I have to say, I've never seen a request.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and why, the Boy Scouts of America, I don't know.
They've had a lot of activity,
They've had a lot of people, file against them.
lots of money flowing.
Yep.
so.
So.
And this, it sounds like this is a private investigating firm. Well, I mean, it says it's Specken Forensic Laboratories, but they say they have a private investigator license in the state of Michigan. And then they list what must be a license number. So, but their address for their company is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So, I don't know, we'll wait and see what we. And then, the next thing on the agenda there is the EAC, which is the, Federal Elections Commission. We'll be doing, they've chosen Ohio as a state to audit for how the CARES and HAVA money was spent. So not, on elections, but just on how, Ohio spent their HAVA and CARES money, which is federal, that was provided to the state. So they're gonna, I'm assuming, randomly select counties to, or somehow select counties to audit, and the state will let us know whenever they find out who they're auditing. So if we get chosen, we'll find out. There's a copy of we had a webinar on it, and there's a copy of the slide sheets from it that's in back if you wanna look over it. And they have emailed this to us, so I can email it to you too, if you wanted that, right?
Oh, I'm fine with paper any day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just saying I was good with paper.
I printed it off because I wanted to be able just to look at it too, so.
we're a little frustrated because it should be, we filled out so many surveys with these grants last year.
And we
They
had to
should have
track
all this information.
Right, I feel like we already tracked it enough. that we-
Yeah, but it's easier for them to say, hey, how about you doing this, giving it to us
Yeah.
now, we don't have to go look for it.
Yeah.
I get that with my company all the time, you know, and I said, all you do is look at the records, you got it.
The next one is the pay, if you, the legal size paper here. This is a budget, I've made this spreadsheet of counties of our similar size and voters. And you can kind of go across the scale here and see what they pay. Currently, we're the lowest paid county for poll workers. So I did this based on if we had the rate of $125 a day for the basic poll workers. We have about 124 poll workers that we will probably use for November. That would be 15,500. And then $20 for each training. As you know, they can take an in-person training and then the online training. So that would be an additional $40 for people that did that. Everybody will have to at least attend one training, whether it's they do the online or the personal. Well, probably just the personal. The online, I think, will be optional, but that's an additional $6,000. I thought if we brought the leaders up to $130, we have 13 leaders, no, more than that, don't we?
We do one leader per precinct.
One per precinct, and we have.
So we have 50 precincts.
50 precincts, so.
Yeah, number goes up a smidge.
6,500. And then voting location managers, if we move them to 145, that would be, times 13 would be 1,885. So, let me do this math again.
But once you turn it into a, yep. Then you want to tell us that you're gonna withdraw it into again.
So that would be another, it'll be about $30,000. With what?
For one election.
For one election.
What have we been averaging up this
It's
25?
on here somewhere, we're going,
Okay.
precinct election. Cost, precinct election training cost.
I think now, or from, I'm trying to remember what we paid in November.
$32,053.
If you would say you had.
But that was with more workers.
That was with more workers. This is based
That was
on
already double.
about 150 workers.
Which is that gonna be about right?
I would say we'll probably, I don't know that we'll need as many, I mean, depending on what the Secretary of State is going to do as far as social distancing, I think we're still gonna have to have cleaners, I think we're still gonna have to have social distancing. So I figure even though this is an off year, we may not need as many as we had in November 20, but we're gonna need more than what we had obviously for May, since all precincts or all voting locations will be open too.
Yeah, well, you've got their, 124.
Yeah,
So I'd say for this election, we'd at least probably have that many.
yeah.
You can give it back to us.
So, just so I understand, if I start with the 125 basic,
Mm-hmm.
is that the same as the number 10150?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad you did
Yeah,
that,
we'll
'cause
take the
that's what I was
place
trying to
of that,
figure
yeah.
out.
Then the leader of the pack,
mm-hmm,
is that the same as the 11150?
yes,
And then the VLM,
Would be the same as the 11150.
mm-hmm.
so those are two different,
Yeah, right now we pay the VLMs and the leaders the same.
gotcha. So the VLM's gonna get pushed up
And I could do 140 there if you want.
No, I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with 145.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just saying, we're requiring these location managers, obviously, as we found, when you
although that
don't
puts
have a good,
us,
strong BLM,
Right.
it can delay things. So I think that we ought to compensate those location managers, because they have a lot of responsibility now.
And if you want to wait, until convenience here.
Yeah, if
to
you'd
make
rather
final
have a full
decision.
quorum or full
Yeah,
board.
I think when we're doing that kind of spending, it's always been our practice,
Yep.
try to have
Okay.
everybody here.
Okay,
Again,
fine.
it just seems to me to fall in line a little more. The only thing I am gonna suggest is that as we pay more money, we should get what we're paying for. So that means if there's a critique of someone who is not working well, that we make changes so that we're getting people that are sort of worthy of the outlay. Because I think if we're talking and trying to explain that to, say, county commissioners, is that we're trying to make sure that we hold, I think my speech would be, we're identifying people who really understand election day requirements. They understand equipment. They are comfortable with what they need to do so that at the start of the day and the close of the day, it's a smooth operation that's running. That we're getting stuff back here so we can get it put in, we can report the results, and we're comfortable that we have the correct results. So therefore, when we have people that, bring back things and mix marked ballots with unmarked ballots, with this, that, and the other thing, if they're one of these people, they're not going to be one of these people. Or if we're paying people for just driving in, that, they're responsible folks there as well.
Well, and you have to remember, we're gonna include now runners at 7:31.
Right.
The
Well,
polls are
whatever the
closed,
voters
so we're gonna
are
have to pay mileage for those people as
Right.
well.
And,
But that's to our advantage.
well, to be sure, and then also, do we pay for rovers?
No, because, and I'm not sure how other counties use rovers, our rover has been Jed and Jeff.
Yeah, which we've paid, well, Jed's usually also a poll worker, so he's
Yeah.
being paid that day as a poll worker. But Jeff has not wanted to be a poll worker, so we had paid him
Yeah,
for just, for 30 days,
yeah.
for however many hours.
Well, I'll tell you, boy, if you're in Athens, you want to be a rover.
Yeah,
Frankly, if you want to work in the polling system, Belmont's not a bad place to be.
well, Belmont, yeah, $125 for their training.
Wow.
I looked at a couple of things like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm wondering if they reported that right or not on it.
I mean,
well, you just look though at their final thing, their official cost, primary election, 39,000
well, and if you even go on the last page, the salaries
versus
of
our
the board members.
1,900.
Mm.
I thought, we're all pretty much the same in population, and I thought doesn't Ohio General Assembly set your salaries?
Yeah,
Well, how is,
Which page is that on?
that's the very last page. How is Ross County 33,000, you guys are just 45? I'm trying to go by registered voters, they have 33.
They got 46, right?
Yeah, 46,000, we have 42.
well, it's not registered voters, it's population of your whole county.
Oh,
But I would think that there's, wouldn't be too much.
I can't believe Ross County's that much bigger than we are. Chillicothe, the city might, but
Yeah,
at any rate,
I
but
wasn't sure Scioto had that many.
I know Scioto's, well, they got people back there and that hills and hollers.
My dad was principal down in Manchester.
Oh, yeah?
Other than Union County, we're the lowest paid,
Yeah, we are. And Union County has-
I'm gonna move.
I know. Union County has Marysville,
Oh, that's right.
and Marysville's a pretty big city.
Yeah.
I mean, since Honda came to town. But I'm surprised how much they pay in overtime too, if you look at that. But anyways, that's just by comparison.
This was from 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll work this up and I'll send it out to each of you and you guys can vote on it next week.
And these are based on the annual expense report of the board that all counties have to report.
Yeah. I don't know, folks. Athens apparently is the place to be director.
Well, and they're, well, I'm not sure which Penny was, which she was director or deputy.
She was
director.
deputy.
Okay, but they had both been there many years.
Yeah, but Union's not a bad, well, all of them, Scioto, Ross. I'll tell ya. Marion, I guess, is sort of comparable. Or is it? Yeah, Marion.
And Marion
I guess
only has
Knox.
4 voting locations. Are they the ones that go to the schools?
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
What if they have a special election? I'd like to see how that works. Maybe I'll call it later and see if I can hang out on election.
When is that?
August 4th.
August 4th.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, or Marion
It'd be
County
good to
has
see how
6
they-
polling locations.
Especially if they're the one that uses the schools, I think they are.
I know.
Aren't they the one that uses the schools?
I thought that was Madison.
Madison, but
Oh,
I
it's
thought
Madison,
Marion
that's right.
only had 6 or 5 places where they vote.
Well,
They only have 4
Marion's,
on here.
oh no, it's 6 altogether.
All 6 altogether?
4 is private
Oh,
and 2 of them are public, so that makes 6 total.
still.
There's a column for total.
Again, they may have access to this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, well, they have 28,000 registered voters, but they have 65
Scioto
precincts.
County's got 77 townships.
Precincts, but only, well, 28 polling locations.
Daggone.
So
And at
let's,
one time, we had up to like 80 something. Yeah, that was before I started.
and again, Belmont,
We had
good
like-
size.
Yeah,
only 7.
Or they have
Right.
7
total, they have 28 total.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
'Cause they're going by
I went to the
private.
wrong column.
But you look at Knox compared to us, they got 28 locations when we only have 13.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they're.
Well, again,
they're-
Belmont, Knox, and Scioto are all sitting at 28, aren't they?
Yeah.
And look at the number, what they call, private. You know.
But that'd be like your churches,
Yeah.
Mandy,
Yeah, private would be like for us, like churches, or if it was a township hall.
But
Well, I
that's
guess
public.
township hall would be
Yeah.
public. Yeah, and, or if you had some other, I guess, maybe community.
Yeah, I'll call either Marion or Madison, either one that goes to the schools and see if maybe her and I can go over there on election day, kind of like what.
I'm just kind of curious to see, what they're, you know. And again, some of these counties though are not as rural as we are. So they're, and a lot of them are kind of rectangles.
Yeah, they are.
We don't have this peculiar thing where, sitting on a river and radiating.
Yeah.
Because you look at, you have Frontier, Marietta, and Belpre, for sure, are 3 areas where that would be a voting locations at the river.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then goes out from there. Or if you're sitting there in Marion, you know,
Yeah.
if you can pick
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, you kind of turned it into a cube.
What is the mileage from county line to county line on the river?
Oh, it's a ways.
I'd say it's close to 50. And the reason I say that, from Marietta to Belpre is 13, but to get out of Belpre, it's about
Another,
7, 8, 10 miles to get to the county line. And from Marietta to New Matt is 30-some miles.
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah,
50, but it'd take you probably about an hour and 15 minutes.
I'd say at least.
It's a big county.
Yeah.
It's a big
it
county.
is. And again, we have all those roads that follow creeks.
Mhm.
So they're not, nothing's just 550. I mean, you know, you could just tick them off.
If you flew, you'd
26,
be there
et
much
cetera,
quicker.
but nothing
Yeah.
that's straight.
Yeah.
It's all curves.
Mhm.
So that adds to your time and your
Yeah.
mileage and so forth.
So we're gonna table this till next time, also table the seasonal employees, which is change the hourly wage, so.
You,
skip
you
it.
did, no, you did approve that last month.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
That's what I couldn't
For the
remember.
drivers, for the delivery workers.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, you approved that pay to bring them up to $9 an hour.
Yeah, I forgot that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Table
And then we've got there the district meeting, that's just let you know where
Right.
the staff will be, and you
Do
voted.
you need to make a motion to have you closed all
I
day?
think you did that at the last
Last
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a reminder about it. And then there is this new, if any of you guys would wanna come in, RBM is doing a user meeting in Columbus on July 26th. And I think they were saying the times from it, they
10
haven't
to
decided where, but I think
2.
10 to 2.
10 to 2, if anybody would like to join.
So we wouldn't stay all night, you know, anywhere for that, but, and then if you wanted all of us to go here, then you'd need a vote to close the office for that.
What's Triad Training Day?
That's where, just to kind of give us a refresher on all of our software we have with Triad. Jose from there was gonna come in,
Here?
yeah, to our office, so we would be, you know, here.
There's a lot of things on EVIS on that database that I know we're capable of producing reports and everything. And I've played around enough with it to know that I don't know everything I need to know.
I
And
think,
especially with the poll worker part, you
Yeah.
can't really,
right.
how you handle that a lot, so neither of us.
Again, I think if I'm reading tea leaves correctly, the more we understand, and if nothing else, can stand over the shoulder of that person coming to do something and know what they're doing,
Mhm.
the more comfort level we're going to be able to give people
Right,
that
give it
there's
back.
not something
Yeah,
shady going on,
exactly.
because you don't know, you can't tell us you know what they're doing.
Yeah,
You know, I think it'll be important to be able to say, oh no, we know precisely what they're doing and we're watching very carefully
Mhm.
to make sure that what we're paying them to do, they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
which I think would be, you know, again, allay some fears about, you know,
Right.
something going on. So I think that's gonna be important for us.
And if any of you would wanna come in for that, feel free to.
It's on 26.
How
26th and
important,
27th and 28th for Triad.
we're closing on July 23. On
Right.
July 26, is there a need to close?
If we would all, if all
But I
office
mean,
staff.
does everybody have to go? What is gonna happen here that we need 4 people to listen to RBM?
They haven't gave us the complete agenda yet, but I know they're gonna talk about, they have a new, kind of like what we use for our run back, that took over for Valatar. They're gonna have like a new web portal that they're gonna go over, so most of that would be me or Cameron using.
The only reason I'm wondering is are we bringing people in to assist the public on 27, 28?
We
Are we
could,
closing? What are we doing?
We would not be closing, but we could bring people in like Sheila and Anita White.
Because it is so close to the primary.
Well, again, I'm just thinking the most bang for our buck. We got these people coming, right?
Right,
So it's gonna be hands-on training.
right.
And it's designed to train
Us,
probably you all,
yeah.
which is them all, I think. So don't you think it'd be wise to have some folks, because if we're having petition people come in, and it would be good to have as
And that way
little
it is uninterrupted.
uninterrupted, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So if
Yeah.
you can work that out, I think that's what the board would like.
okay.
Yeah, I think if we get a hold of probably Anita and Sheila,
Yeah, Sheila,
maybe get them,
Yeah,
and if we get a hold of them now, we can probably get them.
yeah, and if not, maybe you call someone, maybe get someone. It just would be a good idea. I think there'd be a comfort level
Okay,
for you.
You can't
Because
learn if you're.
otherwise, it's so hard to run
Right,
back and
it
forth to
is.
answer the phone,
yeah,
et cetera.
yeah, we found that out with the election. It's
Yeah.
easier for us to do the work and people
Right.
get other people to talk to others.
And then you're telling us that on August 26, 27, RBM will be in.
Yeah, they'll be in to, help us lay out the ballot, to basically make the ballot then. And
So
what you'll
we'll
need
approve the ballot,
at your September,
okay. So we approve after they make it?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll have,
That'll be for September.
so it'll be ready to go.
yeah, it'll be ready
And by then,
September 8th.
we'll know what's in it, right, by August?
Yeah, that's past their deadline.
Because that's, all the deadlines are gone, so we'll,
And then we'll do, our LNA testing, or October 4th
Mhm.
through the 7th. So that'll be after you finalize the ballot, we'll have printed ballots.
and again, for our, comfort level, this is really the first step, right?
Right,
Where we check to see that a ballot running through voting for Mortimer and Harvey, Mortimer and Harvey get the votes,
yeah,
not Twyla.
Yep. And then we seal them up, after we test all the machines, we seal them up, with the exception of the machines that'll be in here for early voting.
Right, and again, everything with this is the double key, double
Yep.
lock, R and a D,
right.
et cetera.
And we'll ask, some of the delivery guys to come in to help with that training as well.
Right.
Or for the testing.
Testing,
Have we got someone that, now Dave White is taking
Dave White.
Dave Jeff's place.
Yeah,
But I still need to find out how Tom is doing. Tom Hoffenberger.
and we need to check with,
Yeah, see if he's still,
Bittinger.
and then Bittinger, because we may need 2 Dems. So,
Didn't you finally quit?
he's never confirmed that,
He's
but,
never said anything to.
but he didn't
us.
help at the primary. He couldn't help at the primary.
No, because he had a test.
Yeah, he had a
so-
testing or something.
Yeah.
So we'll get a hold of him, but, we have a meeting Monday night, Dems do, so I'll bring it up.
yeah, I think it would be good to try to get answers, because again, part of the comfort level of getting somebody is not throwing them in at the last second where they feel like they're
Too
gonna,
overwhelmed.
or they're gonna make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
And so give them a chance to warm into it. And we can invite them to come and say, hey, just
yeah.
come and look and so forth. We'll go over this.
Mhm.
And you get used to the lingo that we use
Right,
and
Yeah.
so forth. So they're feeling good. Okay, and then you gave us your updates,
yeah, on our calendars.
making headway, are we?
But it looks good, except for Emily.
So, and she's actually taken a couple weeks off, so.
Yeah.
She has less vacation time, but. But a lot of time.
Okay, no, we're knocking them down, so, all right.
And Melissa needs to work on a little bit, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so is there any other business that anybody has that they didn't bring up? Are we good with the 11th? At least the three of us here?
I already got it on my schedule.
You're ready to go?
Yep.
I'm just curious, is it possible to give, can we try
I can
and
text her.
see if we can text her,
Mhm.
get in touch with her, and see if she could report to us that the 11th is good?
We'll just do it on our group one.
I'm on the 11th as of right now.
Yeah, I sent it on our group one. Yeah.
Hate to see it.
Yes, blinking.
That's fine.
So,
I know it's working when you hear the ping.
yeah, I'm not sure how soon she'll be able to, if she might be driving or not. I don't know what time she was taking her mom to the, or what time they had to be at the airport. Or she might be driving home.
Well, we had our daughter and son-in-law and a couple of grandkids in, and Rachel, with their youngest grandchild, drove across the country from Colorado with a friend who was one of her longtime friends from Marietta. And,
Yeah,
Anyway.
she's good.
Okay.
is that good?
Yep.
All right, so that's the date. So anyway, she travels across and we have this visit, but Jeff and Roosevelt flew. So when they were going back, Rachel was not driving back with her friend because her friend wanted to stay through July. So long story short, Rachel got on a flight straight through, went to Denver, and she's waiting on Jeff, who has to go to, and Roosevelt had to go to Houston. Well, in Houston, they had storms. They closed the airport, no flights and whatnot. So after a while, he got tired waiting, and so he canceled the flight, rented a car, drove to Austin in the morning, drove to Colorado, and so forth. So it was sort of entertaining trip.
Phone number, so
I had no idea.
you might have an email or text all of us.
Okay.
What's her email? Your phone number.
Khadijah?
Was nonstop.
I'm sorry, her phone number, cell phone.
Cell phone, okay, we're gonna.
I bet it will.
740
How long's the
629
3 hours.
7467.
Actually, probably 3 hours and change, not much. It's 3 hours or less coming the other way when you have the tail.
When I want to,
Yeah.
So it's
I got
not-
yours in there and everybody else's didn't have hers.
Right.
That way I can
Colorado Springs.
Did you guys sign the minutes?
Airport.
Yeah, I got to sign that.
Okay.
That's good.
Did they all sign?
Yeah, we all signed that one. I used to use mine and passed it through. So
Okay,
you
that's
have to
good.
sign for you. You can zip it in the old record. So is there anything else?
Yeah, I think so. I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
You playing any golf?
Oh, just once a week. And never, not always once a week. Are you doing any?
Yeah, once a week.
You play on Monday.
Well,